The indirect formula. This formula is used to convert any text string to a specific reference. So what we'll have in our formula bar equal to indirect. Within parentheses, you have reference text. Now this can either refer to another cell that has text, or you can actually place text within the section. Then comma, and this is an optional part where you can either refer to that reference being in our usual default setting of A1 format, being a column and then row reference, or you can go to the second option being row column format. It's not usually a common approach, but it's available for certain scenarios. So let's go ahead and look at the example below where I'll be creating two scenarios, either referring to a specific cell in different tabs, and the other one being a reference to a table. So what we have here is each row referring to a specific tab, and we want to tally up all those totals of each month to give a total sales value at the top. So let's go to each one and notice that within January, it has all the dates with its values, and we notice that cell B1 is the total sales. In February, we have total sales in B1 as well, March being the same case, and April. So when we go back, we can either click in the cell and type equal to, go to January's tab, select B1 and press enter. When we do that, we see the result is shown. In the formula bar, you have equal to Jan apostrophe B1, being the case here for the formula. Now, in the case of when it's just maybe 4 tabs as this, then it's maybe fine to just go and type and select each one. But in most cases in real life, we'll deal with a lot more tabs, and we would like to obviously sum this up in the fastest way possible. So what I've done here is to type all the formulas needed. And what you'll notice is that, as I said before, B1 is our common denominator here. So that is the one that we know stays the same. However, the first part, being the name of your tab, changes. So you'll notice in A2, you have Jan, Feb, March being the name of the tab as well. So why not create the indirect formula to just pull it through? So before I use the indirect, I will just first type equal to, select the cell so I know it pulls through the text being Jan. Then I will use the ampersand, double quotation, apostrophe. Remember, within double quotation, it is static text. And we know that after the apostrophe has to be B1. Close the double quotation, enter. So we'll notice that by pulling through what's relevant in A2, it has Jan B1, just as we require it. Now let us put that entire formula inside indirect formula. Open parentheses, we have our formula already. Close the parentheses, enter. And there we have our value being the same as the one indicated on the right. Now that we know that the indirect works, we can just copy and paste down. Control C all the way down, Control V, and we have it all being pulled through automatically. So this is the convenience of it being indirect. But just to note, whatever your tab name is, needs to be exactly to the cell that you are referring to. So let us just go and add up all these totals equal to sum, open parentheses, select all 4 underneath, close parentheses, enter, and we have the total sum. Let us go to our second example referring to a table. Now, second one, I'm going to create a drop down here called category. And whenever I select the category, I want it to display the table that exists with that category. Let us look at the example within our table column. We have one being animals and the other one being insects. So before we do the indirect, we want to convert this to a table. We'll select one at a time. I will go to insert, click table. I will select my table has headers and it's indicated, so I'll press OK. Now we have animals. We'll go to the second one, do the same, insert table, same case, OK. Now importantly here, I like referring to whatever my header is. I'll give it the table name as well. So when you click on a table, you'll see at the top left is the space called table name. So there I will call it animals, and for B I will change that to insects. Now I will go back to indirect. In my category, I will create a drop-down list based on those two categories, one being called animals, the other one being called insects. I will go to data menu, click on my data validation within my ribbon. Then I will select list. Click that button to select where you want to create it. I'll go to tables and select the two headers at the top. Now when I press OK and I look at my drop down, I have animals and insects. This is purely based on the headers that has been selected. In the table underneath, I will type in equal to indirect, open parentheses, select what is in that cell above, close the parentheses, enter. Now, yes, it does give an error because it is blank at the top. So now when I do select one, let's say animals, it pulls through the entire table. What I do like about when I create something and calling it a table, and you'll notice that it is giving me the indicated section, which is the table. When I add any other animal below that, let's say we've added a cheetah, you'll notice that the table has just expanded, which is what I really like about it. I'll go back to that and you'll notice that cheetah's already pulled through. If I change this to insects, it changes the table. And that's the wonders of Indirect. Go ahead and give it a try. Many more things can be done here sometimes when you're doing a lot of shifting of cells, maybe right-clicking, inserting another column, or underneath right-click, inserting another row, you sometimes change your cell reference within a formula. If you always want to refer to a specific cell, no matter what movement you do, you use indirect.